What's going on, guys? So today is going to be a very weird story. Also, I'm going to have like a personal story with that. And I was reading up on a few things just to let you know, this type of sexual act is apparently legal in a lot of states in the U.S. I think they just put it down as animal cruelty, which is about as far as you're going to get. And I don't even know if that gives you a lot of prison time. But this case would have gave somebody prison time because it would have been like next level of animal cruelty. But if you didn't know, apparently India has quite a bit of a problem. Now, I looked up top 10. They're not in the top 10, but still, out of all the countries we have, they still are, at the higher rate of, well, I have to be careful with YouTube. You know their guidelines. You can't search certain words. You got to be careful. And certain things get where it's not so much they demonetize it. I swear they just kind of shadow ban the video so you can't see it. But I wanted to address this anyway because it was so obscure and weird. So over there, these types of people, they don't just like, oh yeah, you go to jail for 10 years. No, they completely, it's over with. Like, they hit the off button. Yeah, they literally hit the off button. That is apparently what is the actual, case. If you do that to someone, yeah, it's just over with for you. Game over. They don't deal with that. Now, I guess they found an answer. A very dumb one. Very disgusting one. And yes, it involved a goat. Now, it wasn't just one guy, and it wasn't just the goat got it and the goat walked away. No, the goat is gone. The goat is no longer. And I don't know how this makes it worse, but it still does. Two things. 8 guys and a pregnant goat. They literally took it to Pound Town so long that it apparently perished. And that's the weird thing about this. Instead of, going after somebody, which obviously shouldn't do in the beginning, in the first place, they can't control their urges enough that they just snuffed out somebody's goat. And that wouldn't even be the end of it. Apparently in this story, because I've looked it up, it is quite everywhere. You can literally look up goat, done to death by 8 men in India, and there's a whole list of it. It happened in 2018. So that much is true. But the story goes on to say that these 8 men, were found by the farmer that owned the goat. And they turned to tell him, hey, we know powerful people. We know the cops. We know the entire police state. You try to come after us, we'll have you arrested and you'll go away for life, and they'll believe us, not you. So basically, this farmer, distraught, angry, very angry, that he lost his goat, had to file the police complaint anyway. He went with it. He called their bluff, and yeah, he was right to do so. The cops were not buddies of these 8 men. In fact, they were disgusted themselves, and apparently it goes on to say that they were arrested, and yeah, they had to file it. Now, I've read where there's no way to actually charge them, this, that, and the other. They're trying to find a way to make it a law that apparently forcing yourself onto animals is not right. And also, something while reading all this, and I wish I didn't know this, there's a lot of states where it's legal, technically, and, the U.S., because, of course it is. I think they usually just identify it as animal cruelty, and they try to give you as many years as they can. I don't know why this is not already passed in every state, that you should not, do this with an animal. And most of them just end up getting a little bit of jail time. If that, they probably usually pay a fine. There was plenty of things I've seen where a lot of people were getting outed for dogs and stuff like that, and nothing ever happened. And now I'm going to give you a very horrible story that I had growing up. Now, everybody, including yourself, I'm sure, has had a myth. The story of the school. Now, this story of my school happened around when I was actually in school. Now, I wasn't on the bus, but apparently everybody on that bus was able to corroborate the same story. And yeah, it was pretty messed up. So just to tell you how easy it is to get away with animal cruelty, they didn't know what to get this guy for. Now, they're just going on the bus. Simple route, nothing big. They're all going home. And as they're on their way home, this is a couple miles from the school, mind you, so it's literally still a bus full of children. As they're coming around this curve, there's this little wooded area. And as they're passing this wooded area, they see a man. And they don't know what to do. Now, it's a clearing. It's literally like a deer hunter's haven right there, where you got this woods and they could come out. If it wasn't for the road, it would be perfect, because there's this clearing, natural clearing, like they don't clear it out. There's no farming, nothing going on. And they see this man just over there, just going at it. They don't know what he's doing. It just looks like he's either might be having a seizure or whatever. And for some reason, they all decide to call the cops. Now, one kid lived right down the road. I guess he investigated it or whatever, and found out the man was, in fact, getting it with a deer. And, yeah, you would be asking yourself, well, it can't be a live deer, obviously, because the deer would be smacking the hell out of him. There's no way a deer is just going to openly be able to just accept that. And you'd be right. Thing was gone. It was passed away on the side of the road, right in that clearing, and he was giving it his all. So when they arrested him, they didn't know what to do, other than the fact that he kind of exposed himself to a bunch of children. I don't know the exact details, being this was so long ago, but basically, I think they got him as a indecent exposure and cruelty to an animal that was deceased. That's all they could get him. They couldn't get him for the actual act fully. Now, I think he registered and all that, so I don't know. Like I said, so long ago that I don't remember the name. But that is one of those local little myths, I think, that happened around my school. One of my school stories, I guess you could say. Now, if you'd like to hear another part of this, a little bit of a different version of it, I'll go ahead and read it to you right quick, where it was talking about the man after all this happened. He said, "My goat is injured and lying on the ground. It was not even able to walk." Apparently, one of the attackers gave the goat back to the guy, literally carried it while it was not moving, pretty much already passing away. And he laughed and told him that him and his friends had a good time last night, which made him furious. And that's why he lashed out at him and actually went to the police. Like, there was no threat, apparently. That's what comes from Quora or whatever it is. I'm not sure how true it is. But they were arrested, and apparently they did end up having, getting a charge on them, which was intercourse against the order of nature with man, woman, or animal, and under the Animal Cruelty Act of their area, which is, I mean, the least they could do. Now, that is pretty much the gist of this entire situation. I don't think we criminalize people that harm animals in this way. Just harming an animal in general is really, disgusting and horrible. But I don't think we actually criminalize it hard enough to keep people from wanting to do it. Because a lot of people are like, oh my God, I'm embarrassed. They'll go do it again. In fact, there was a story not that long ago of a woman doing it with a dog. She got outed, and it didn't stop. In fact, she got in trouble multiple times for that exact reason. They ended up catching her quite a few times with the actual evidence on her phone, computer, laptop, all that. So, yeah, when you do that with an animal, I don't think it's criminalized enough because they're not scared. They don't care. The fact that they can just get away with it. Like I said, it's so easy to harm an animal in this way that people are, the worst they get is the embarrassment. That is it. They don't get any type of repercussion that actually counts. They get a little fine, and then they're just like, oh, don't look my name up. It's like, oh, what did you do to a poodle? Oh, yeah, that's all lies, man. It didn't really happen. I will tell you this, and this is actually true because I actually got to, have a confrontation with a relative of the person because they said I shouldn't be spreading it. But it wasn't me necessarily spreading it. It was just the whole school knew. And we had a local kid who actually got caught with his own personal dog. And they ended up putting him in a mental health facility, trying to get him checked out because apparently it had been going on for a while. And they were trying to figure out why the dog was aggressive, and they caught him in the act. And yeah, the family was mad that, the family members at the school was mad that he was being outed. It's like, dude, the dude was sick. Like, yeah, people are going to out stuff like that because they don't want them near it. I mean, it's also high school, and kids are ruthless, so it doesn't matter. The fact that he did it definitely ruined that family's name for probably forever. And from what I understand, that's all he did. They went to go get him mentally health evaluated, and that was the end of it. As far as I know, he got released, and he pretty much went to general public after that. And I hope they have him on a ban list for never being able to purchase animals from at least a shelter. Now, you can't do peer-to-peer. That's going to be almost impossible, like if he uses Facebook. But I'd have to say I hope 100% he never owns an animal because, oddly enough, it ended up being fact because the guy got mad, was asking a bunch of people, who's spreading this? Who's spreading this? Don't need to say that, man. It's embarrassing. But it's true? That doesn't matter, man. It's just embarrassing. Okay, so you're not denying it. You're just going to be like, yeah, nope, it's true. But yeah, guys, I thought that was really weird and obscure. It's like I said, 2018. It's an old story. But it just came across me today. From an old article that I was going through an app, the app that shall not be named, part of the ship, part of the crew. If you don't know what that is, well, I'm not going to tell you. But anyway, yeah, I just thought I would share that with you guys. Y'all have a good one.